This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
These sugar and spice muffins are delicious warm, and they're really easy to put together just with ingredients that you have in your pantry. So we begin by taking our muffin pan and lining it with some cupcake liners. So now let's get our batter going. In a large bowl, you're going to want to measure out 3 cups of flour. And then to that, you're going to add 1 cup of sugar, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and then I'm going to get out my nutmeg mill because I want to grind up 1 teaspoon of fresh nutmeg, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then I'm going to take my whisk and I'm really going to mix these ingredients up well. Then I'm going to switch over to a spatula. I'm going to make a little well in the center of the bowl. And I'm going to take 1/3 cup of melted butter and I'm going to put that right in the center. And then with my spatula, I'm just going to toss the flour in with that warm butter. Then I'm not going to stir it up completely. Then I'm going to make another little well and I'm going to add 1.25 cups of milk. And I'm just using a 1% milk, but you can use whatever you'd like. I'm going to just stir that a little bit, and then I'm going to add 2 eggs. Now, the reason I've done it in these stages is because my butter was still warm, and if I were to put the eggs in with the warm butter, they might start to scramble. So if you put it in this order, it will be fine. So now all we want to do is mix this batter up real well with our spatula. Now, when everything's incorporated, it's going to be lumpy, but that's okay. And then what we're going to do is I'm using my medium cookie scoop, and I'm going to divide this batter into my 12 muffin wells. And what I like to do is go through and put 1 scoop of batter in each well to start. Then I go back and top each one off. That way I know that each muffin is getting about the same amount of batter, and then that way they bake really evenly in the oven. Now, when you're filling your muffin wells, if you happen to drip some of the batter on the tin, do take a paper towel and wipe that off because it will brown quickly in the oven. Then we're going to go ahead and put these in a preheated 350-degree oven and let them bake for about 20 minutes. Now, while the muffins are cooking, take your little bowl that you had melted the butter in and take the rest of the stick of butter. It's about 2.5 tablespoons. And then in another small bowl, you're going to put in 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And you're really going to want to mix this together so that the cinnamon is nicely dispersed into the sugar. Now, before the muffins are done baking, go ahead and take your butter and pop that in the microwave to melt it. So after 20 minutes, they come out of the oven and they look like this. They're a nice pale color, but they have great domes on them. And make sure you put a toothpick in one of them and that it comes out clean. That way you know it's done. And now we're just going to let these sit here for about 5 minutes. And that way they cool a little bit. And then after the 5 minutes, we bring them over and we're going to put the topping on. So what you do is lift the muffin out with a fork, and then you're just going to take the top and you're going to run it very lightly in that melted butter, and then you're going to dip it into that cinnamon sugar mixture. And then you just set it on the rack and let it cool for just a little bit. Although I do have to tell you, these muffins are great warm, so you may not want to wait too much. Now you should have just enough butter and just enough cinnamon sugar to top all of the muffins. If you end up needing a little bit more, it's no big deal. Just make a little bit more cinnamon sugar or melt just a little bit more butter. And hey, I've got an announcement. I've been nominated for a Tasty Award honoring the best in food and fashion programming. I've been nominated for Best Home Chef in a Series for my Farmers Market Gourmet show. Now, this award has a viewer's choice piece. So if you'd like to vote, just go to our website, and this is our new website, which we're super excited about, and go to the Nothin But Muffins page, and I'll have a link there to the Tasty Awards. And if you click on that, it'll take you right to the voting page. Now, voting does end on January 5th. Well, if you'd like to give these sugar and spice muffins a go, just go to our website and visit the Nothin But Muffins show notes, and I'll have the recipe there for you. Also, if you have any questions, send me an email. I'll see you next time.